Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you today about a powerful truth, one that every woman needs to understand. See, when a woman knows her worth, when she moves with confidence, when she's not chasing but choosing, that's when she becomes irresistible. A woman's confidence and self-worth make her irresistible. Confidence is magnetic. It draws people in without effort. And when a woman carries herself with a deep sense of self-worth, she naturally becomes someone that others, including men, want to be around. It's not about arrogance or thinking she's better than anyone else. It's about knowing who she is, what she stands for, and what she brings to the table. When a woman walks into a room with her head held high, comfortable in her own skin, she doesn't need to seek validation. Her presence alone commands respect and admiration. Men are naturally drawn to women who exude confidence because confidence signals security, independence, and strength. A woman who believes in herself doesn't rely on a man to complete her. She doesn't seek external approval because she already knows her value. This kind of self-assuredness is rare, and anything rare is valuable. When a woman radiates confidence, she sends a silent message that she is not easily swayed, she is not desperate for attention, and she is not willing to accept less than she deserves. That energy is powerful and it naturally attracts high-quality men who are ready to rise to her level. On the other hand, when a woman lacks confidence, it shows in everything she does. She second guesses herself, she hesitates to speak up, and she tolerates behavior that doesn't align with her worth. She may find herself over-explaining, apologizing too much, or accepting the bare minimum just to keep someone around. Men can sense this energy, and unfortunately, the wrong kind of man will take advantage of it, while the right kind of man may be turned off by it. No man wants to be with someone who doesn't believe in herself, because confidence is what makes a person stand out. A confident woman is selective about who she allows into her life. She doesn't entertain toxic relationships or settle for less than she deserves because she knows that being alone is far better than being in the wrong company. She understands that love should add to her happiness, not be the sole source of it. She carries herself with a quiet assurance that says, I am enough. That kind of energy is unforgettable. Confidence is not just about appearance, it's about how a woman carries herself in all areas of life. It's in the way she speaks, the way she makes decisions, and the way she handles challenges. She doesn't let setbacks shake her, and she doesn't allow rejection to define her. Instead, she learns, grows, and continues to move forward with grace and strength. When a woman embraces her self-worth and stands firmly in her confidence, she doesn't need to chase love. Love finds her. She becomes the kind of woman that men admire, respect, and most importantly, value. Because a woman who knows her worth is a woman who cannot be ignored. Men can sense desperation and are drawn to women who don't chase. Detachment isn't about playing games. It's about knowing your value. When a woman chases a man, constantly seeking his attention, approval, and validation, it shifts the dynamic of the relationship. A man can feel when a woman is overly invested in him, and instead of making him value her more, it often has the opposite effect. Desperation gives away too much power, making a woman appear as though she needs the man more than he needs her. The moment she prioritizes him over herself, constantly trying to prove she's worthy of his love, he starts to take her for granted. He no longer sees her as a prize, but as someone who is too available, too eager, and too willing to accept whatever he offers, no matter how little. On the other hand, when a woman doesn't chase, she holds on to her power. She doesn't feel the need to convince a man to want her because she knows that the right man will recognize her worth without her having to beg for his attention. This kind of woman is focused on her life, her goals, and her happiness. She understands that a relationship should complement her, not complete her. She moves with the mindset that a man should be an addition to her life, not the center of it. This independence and self-assuredness create a natural attraction. When a man senses that a woman is content within herself, he becomes more drawn to her. He wants to be part of her world because she exudes confidence, and confidence is irresistible. However, some women mistake detachment for playing games, thinking they need to manipulate a man by pretending not to care. But real detachment isn't about withholding affection or acting uninterested. It's about genuinely knowing that her worth isn't determined by a man's level of interest in her. It's about understanding that if a man wants to be in her life, he will show it through consistent effort, not mixed signals or empty promises. A detached woman doesn't waste time overanalyzing texts, waiting by the phone, or settling for breadcrumbs of affection. She knows what she deserves. And if a man isn't meeting her standards, she is perfectly fine walking away. A man respects a woman who respects herself. When she is unbothered by whether or not he chooses her, he starts to realize that she is not like other women who desperately seek love at any cost. He sees that she is rare, someone who won't tolerate games, disrespect, or inconsistency. This makes him step up his game because he knows that if he doesn't, she won't hesitate to move on. A woman who is secure in herself doesn't beg, doesn't chase, and doesn't compromise her stand. And that, more than anything, is what makes her truly irresistible. Boundaries and self-respect make a woman more attractive. Real love is freely given, not earned through sacrifice. The moment a woman detaches from fear and insecurity, she steps into her power. A woman who knows her worth understands the importance of setting boundaries. She does not allow anyone to walk over her, take advantage of her kindness, or disrespect her in any way. Boundaries are not walls meant to keep people out. They are guidelines that teach others how to treat her. When a woman communicates what she will and will not tolerate, it commands respect. A man is naturally drawn to a woman who values herself enough to say no to things that don't align with her standards. She doesn't entertain inconsistency, tolerate broken promises, or allow someone to disrupt her peace. A woman with boundaries shows that she is confident and secure, and that is incredibly attractive. Men are not drawn to women who accept anything just to keep them around. They are drawn to women who challenge them to be better. Real love is never something that should have to be earned through suffering or sacrifice. A woman who believes she has to prove her worth through struggle is setting herself up for a lifetime of disappointment. Love is not about constantly giving, fixing, or sacrificing everything just to be chosen. When a woman starts to detach from the idea that she must endure hardship to be loved, she steps into a healthier mindset. She no longer feels the need to overcompensate in relationships or settle for a love that drains her. She realizes that the right man will love her for who she is, not for how much she is willing to tolerate. She understands that love should feel safe, secure, and reciprocated. A woman who recognizes this stops chasing and starts attracting. She stops begging and starts choosing. She stops settling and starts demanding the love she truly deserves. Fear and insecurity keep many women stuck in relationships that no longer serve them. the fear of being alone, the fear of not being good enough, the fear of losing someone. All of these create a mindset of scarcity. A woman who operates from fear holds on too tightly, even when she knows deep down that she deserves better. But the moment she detaches from these fears, she becomes unstoppable. She no longer looks for someone to complete her because she realizes she is already whole. She stops settling for men who don't value her because she finally values herself. She moves differently. She carries herself with confidence. She makes decisions based on self-respect, and she no longer feels the need to shrink herself to fit into someone else's life. When a woman reaches this level of detachment, she steps into her full power, and that is when she becomes truly irresistible. She no longer waits for love to find her. She becomes the kind of woman that love chases. A woman's confidence and self-worth make her irresistible. Men can sense desperation and are drawn to women who don't chase. Detachment isn't about playing games. It's about knowing your value. Boundaries and self-respect make a woman more attractive. Confidence is a force that cannot be ignored. A woman who knows her worth does not seek validation from anyone because she already understands her value. She does not rely on compliments to feel beautiful or on a relationship to feel whole. She walks with certainty, speaks with authority, and moves with a purpose. When a woman is secure in herself, she naturally becomes more attractive. She doesn't need to compete for attention because her presence commands it without effort. Men are drawn to her not just because of how she looks, but because of how she carries herself. She is not afraid to take up space, voice her opinions, or set high standards. This type of self-assurance makes her stand out because confidence, more than anything, is magnetic. On the other hand, desperation repels. When a woman constantly seeks a man's attention, overinvests in a relationship too quickly, or makes her happiness dependent on someone else, it shifts the dynamic. A man can feel when a woman is overly eager to please, and instead of making him value her more, it often has the opposite effect. It signals to him that she is not secure in herself, that she doubts her worth, and that she is willing to lower her standards just to keep him around. This energy is unattractive because it places pressure on him to provide validation that should already exist within her. A woman who does not chase, who is content with or without a man, is naturally more desirable. She gives off an aura of mystery and independence that makes a man want to be in her presence rather than feeling like he is being pursued. However, detachment is not about playing mind games or pretending not to care. It is about genuinely knowing your worth and refusing to accept less than what you deserve. Some women confuse detachment with manipulation, thinking they must act uninterested or make a man jealous to keep him invested. But true detachment comes from a place of self-respect. It means understanding that if a man wants to be in your life, he will make the effort. It means refusing to beg for love or attention, because real love is never forced. A detached woman does not overanalyze a man's behavior, wait endlessly for a text, or accept mixed signals. She knows that consistency is a reflection of true interest, and that a man who values her will show it through his actions, not just his words. Boundaries play a key role in attraction. A woman who respects herself sets clear expectations for how she wants to be treated. She does not tolerate emotional games, disrespect, or half-hearted effort. A man recognizes when a woman holds herself to high standards, and that alone makes him respect her more. When a woman confidently upholds her boundaries, she shows that she values herself, and that is what makes her truly irresistible. A woman's confidence and self-worth make her irresistible. Men can sense desperation and are drawn to women who don't chase. Detachment isn't about playing games, it's about knowing your value. Boundaries and self-respect make a woman more attractive. Real love is freely given, not earned through sacrifice. Confidence is one of the most attractive qualities a woman can have. When she knows her worth and carries herself with assurance, she naturally draws people toward her. She does not seek external validation because she understands that her value is not determined by someone else's opinion. She walks into a room with her head held high, not because she believes she is better than others, but because she respects herself. This energy is powerful and magnetic. A confident woman is not afraid to express her thoughts, pursue her passions, and set high standards for herself and those around her. She does not shrink to make others comfortable. Instead, she embraces who she is, and that confidence makes her unforgettable. Desperation, on the other hand, has the opposite effect. A woman who constantly seeks approval, overextends herself to keep a man's attention, or tolerates disrespect in fear of losing someone, weakens her own position. Men can sense when a woman is too eager to please, and unfortunately, this often leads to her being taken for granted. The truth is, a man values a woman who values herself. When she chases him, constantly checking in, trying to prove she is good enough, it signals insecurity. But when she holds her own, knowing that any man in her life should feel lucky to be there, she naturally commands more respect. Detachment is a key factor in maintaining this self-respect. But true detachment does not mean playing games or pretending not to care. It means genuinely understanding that her happiness and self-worth are not tied to whether or not a man chooses her. She does not stress over a man's inconsistent behavior because she knows that the right one will be consistent. She does not settle for half-hearted effort or emotional unavailability. Instead, she focuses on her own growth, happiness, and fulfillment. This kind of woman does not chase, she attracts. She does not force connections, she allows them to develop naturally. And because of this, men find her intriguing and desirable. A woman with strong boundaries reinforces this attraction. She does not tolerate disrespect, dishonesty, or emotional manipulation. She communicates what she expects and walks away from anything that does not meet her standards. Men recognize when a woman respects herself, and it challenges them to rise to her level. A woman with strong boundaries does not accept excuses or settle for inconsistency. She knows that love should feel safe and secure, not like a constant struggle. Real love is never something that needs to be earned through suffering. A woman who believes she has to prove her worth by enduring pain or waiting endlessly for a man to change is operating from a place of insecurity. Love that is true flows naturally, without manipulation or sacrifice. When a woman understands this, she steps into her power. She no longer begs for love. She becomes a kind of woman that love finds effortlessly. A woman's confidence and self-worth make her irresistible. Men can sense desperation and are drawn to women who don't chase. Detachment isn't about playing games, it's about knowing your value. Boundaries and self-respect make a woman more attractive. Real love is freely given, not earned through sacrifice. The moment a woman detaches from fear and insecurity, she steps into her power. Confidence is the foundation of a woman's lure. When she understands her value, she doesn't need external validation to feel complete. She walks with purpose, speaks with certainty, and makes decisions that reflect her high self-esteem. This energy is naturally attractive because people, including men, are drawn to those who are secure in themselves. A confident woman doesn't seek approval or change herself to fit someone else's expectation. Instead, she embraces who she is unapologetically, making her presence magnetic. Men are captivated by a woman who knows her worth because she is a challenge. She is not easily impressed, nor does she rely on a man to feel valuable. Desperation, on the other hand, creates the opposite effect. When a woman constantly seeks validation, overanalyzes every interaction, and puts a man's needs above her own, she gives off an energy of neediness. Men can sense when a woman is trying too hard to hold on to a relationship, and rather than drawing them in, it often pushes them away. A man wants to feel that he is choosing a woman, not that she is desperately clinging to him. When a woman refrains from chasing, she allows space for attraction to grow naturally. She shows that she is desirable, not because she is trying to prove it, but because she genuinely believes it. True detachment is not about manipulation, it's about self-respect. A woman who practices detachment understands that she does not need to force love, beg for attention, or tolerate half-hearted effort. She recognizes that if someone truly values her, they will show it through their actions. She does not waste time overanalyzing mixed signals or waiting for someone to change. Instead, she focuses on herself, her goals, and her happiness. This kind of woman moves with certainty, knowing that what is meant for her will come effortlessly. Boundaries reinforce a woman's worth. When she sets limits on what she will and won't accept, she teaches people how to treat her. She does not settle for inconsistency, dishonesty, or disrespect. A man respects a woman who respects herself, and strong boundaries communicate that she values herself enough to walk away from anything that does not align with her standards. She does not entertain empty promises or tolerate behavior that does not match her expectation. Real love does not require suffering. A woman who believes she must prove herself through struggle or sacrifice is operating from fear, not confidence. Love that is genuine does not need to be forced, fixed, or chased. When a woman lets go of fear and insecurity, she steps into her power. She no longer waits for love. She attracts it effortlessly by simply being the best version of herself.